One rapper had his face slashed while another was actually murked in the prison showers. Jail isn't safe for anyone, not even rappers. But sometimes they fight back because this other rapper sent his assailant to the hospital. These rappers' prison fights will leave you at the edge of your seat, so buckle up. Kodak Black. In 2019, Kodak Black was locked up at Miami's Federal Detention Center, where he got into an altercation so ugly that one person needed surgery afterward. At the time, Kodak was awaiting sentencing after pleading guilty to federal weapons charges, with the prospect of up to 8 years in prison looming over him. The fight reportedly broke out between two inmates, and while details were murky, it was clear that Kodak was involved, leading to severe consequences for one of the guards. According to reports, the rapper was high on drugs. The fight amongst the inmates turned ugly for Kodak when one of the guards pepper sprayed the 22-year-old rapper. He retaliated by throwing 2 punches and then gripping the guard's junk tightly. 4 officers finally restrained Black, but it was too late. Black had such a firm hold on the guard's testicles that the guard was hospitalized with a hernia and underwent surgery. A plot twist to the story revealed that Kodak had been set up to fight. According to the rapper's camp, someone slipped something in his drink to set him off. Sources say that surveillance video showed Kodak drinking coffee about 20 minutes before the fight broke out. His reps believe Kodak's coffee was spiked with a chemical substance intended to make him lose control. TMZ sources claim that an agent from the FBI testified that witnesses said Kodak appeared to be under the influence during the brawl. It took several prison guards to restrain Kodak, who displayed incredible strength after allegedly being drugged. What's more suspicious is that the inmate who started the fight was placed in the rapper's prison pod earlier in the day and released on bond about 12 hours after the brawl. Kodak's team also believed that the fact that the fight went down 2 weeks before the rapper's sentencing was fishy. Was someone trying to get Kodak locked up for longer? In February 2020, Kodak was sent to USP Big Sandy in Kentucky, where he would get into another altercation with the prison guards. According to inmates at the jail, the rapper was restrained in handcuffs, and 7 guards descended upon him. The rapper was beaten mercilessly, with a metal object repeatedly striking his head. The aftermath of this alleged assault was not just physical, but also psychological, with reports of a guard demeaning Kodak Black in a manner most vile, challenging his masculinity. This news erupted on social media, and a post on Kodak Black's official account detailed his ordeal and humiliation. His lawyer posted in graphic detail what had happened to the rapper, saying, "Friday night he was badly beaten while in cuffs by 7 guards at Big Sandy. They struck him in the head repeatedly with a metal object dot. Then after one of the guards flicked his genitals and said, 'You're not so gangster now, you're gonna need bigger balls to survive.'" While Kodak was attacked by correctional officers, this next rapper was attacked by his fellow inmates. Casanova. Casanova is a rapper from the New York drill scene and was destined to take over after Pop Smoke was shot and killed in a robbery gone wrong. In a dramatic turn of events, Casanova's world came crashing down when he was implicated in a federal racketeering case. The charges against him were serious, including his involvement in a 2018 robbery in New York, a 2022 shooting in Florida, and marijuana trafficking. Faced with overwhelming evidence and the prospect of a lengthy prison sentence, the rapper made the difficult decision to plead guilty to the charges against him. His guilty plea included a count of conspiring to conduct and participate in the affairs of a criminal enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity, as well as 1 count of conspiring to distribute more than 100 kilograms of marijuana. These charges carry a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years, with a maximum of up to 60 years, leaving Casanova no choice but to plead guilty. The rapper's life in jail hasn't been the easiest, and news from the Essex County Jail paints a sad picture. His troubles started when he decided to leave his gang. Maybe he shouldn't have done this while still behind bars. The rapper reached out to Judge Philip Halpern in a letter, expressing a desire to cut his gang ties. He wrote of his regrets, his longing for a different path, and his realization that gang life was not the right path for success in music or in life. This renunciation, however, came with a steep price. On June 14, 2023, the very day Casanova's disavowal became public, Essex County Jail became a war zone. While the rapper was working out, another inmate attacked him. The assailant, armed with a makeshift weapon, slashed at Casanova, targeting his face. The rapper tried to defend himself, but his hands were also slashed in the attack. But Casanova wasn't about to let his attacker walk. Correction officers reported that the rapper then chased the attacker alongside other inmates and retaliated by cutting the inmate's face several times. The rapper's life behind bars has been harsh, and even led him to speak out on social media. He felt that he would die in jail while warning young guys to stay away from jail. Might die here, but always remember what's gangster, cause this jail shit ain't gangster at all. Hope you young beat the odds, the caption read. The bullying must have gotten to Casanova, who is desperate to get out despite being sentenced to 15 years. And while he has openly admitted to being attacked in jail, this next rapper didn't live to tell the tale. Money Sign Suede.
You feel like trouble just kind of follows you at a certain point, or what? I've been feeling like it. Sometimes for me, like, damn, like I'm cursed or something. I don't know.
Just months before his tragic death in jail, rapper Money Sign Suede revealed that he felt that he was cursed because just a few days before the interview, there was a shooting at his party where 3 people lost their lives. The rapper was performing at a warehouse located at the intersection of Lorena Street and Grand Vista Avenue when a shot rang out. In the aftermath of the shooting, it became clear that 6 individuals had been struck by the gunfire. 3 people lay dead, and among the deceased were Randy Tyson, age 25, and Daniel Dunbar, age 27. In December of that same year, Money Sign got into trouble with the law and found himself behind bars for a gun charge. In the shadowed corners of California's Correctional Training Facility, the 22-year-old artist, whose real name was Jamie Brugada Valdez, was fatally stabbed in a prison shower. The rapper's rise to fame was meteoric. In 2021, he signed with Atlantic Records, a move that would solidify his place in the rap scene. But with the spotlight came the scrutiny, and Valdez's past would soon catch up with him. His legal troubles began to mount, casting a shadow over his bright future. In December 2022, Valdez was sentenced to a 32-month prison term for 2 charges of being a convicted felon in possession of a firearm in Riverside County. The rapper had previously served a 10-month sentence between 2020 and 2021, and at the time of his death, he was facing another gun charge conviction from Los Angeles County. He expected to serve this sentence concurrently, but the rapper didn't make it out alive. The corridors of the Correctional Training Facility in Soledad, California, became the final stage for the tragic act that concluded the life of Money Sign Suede. The evening head count on that fateful Tuesday revealed someone was missing. The rapper was found in the prison shower, collapsed on the floor with multiple stab wounds to the neck. The scene was chaotic and desperate as officials and medical personnel scrambled to respond. The California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation was immediately put on high alert, and the on-site medical team fought tirelessly to save the young rapper's life. Despite their best efforts, the wounds proved fatal, and Money Sign Suede was pronounced dead. While Money Sign died in prison, this next rapper lived to tell the tale after his jail attack. Kay Flock. Kay Flock is a Bronx rapper who can't stay away from trouble both in and out of jail. On December 16, 2021, the young drill rapper Kay Flock, born Kevin Perez, allegedly walked into a barbershop on Amsterdam Avenue at West 151st Street. Here, he confronted 24-year-old Oscar Hernandez, sparking a heated argument between the 2 men. The confrontation quickly escalated, moving outside the barbershop and into the street. As tensions flared, the situation took a deadly turn. Police claimed that as the 2 men walked away from the barbershop, Kay Flock pulled out a gun and shot Hernandez in the neck and back. Hernandez was rushed to Mount Sinai Morningside Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Shockingly, the murder happened less than 500 feet from a police station, and a few weeks later, the rapper was arrested for the murder and held at Rikers Island. And behind these prison walls, there's a lot of speculation that Kay Flock isn't enjoying his time. Rumors suggest that the rapper was beaten to such an extent that he required intensive care. Kay Flock, while incarcerated, supposedly found himself in a violent altercation that left him severely injured. This account spread rapidly through social media channels and hip-hop news outlets, with fans and onlookers piecing together the scant details available. The lack of immediate confirmation or clear details from official sources only fueled the fire of speculation. However, one crucial piece of information started circulating on the internet, confirming that the rapper may have been attacked. Public prison records showed that Kay Flock was in Rikers Island West facility, which is allegedly a hospital wing. Some sources even claimed that he was transferred to that unit due to a health issue unrelated to the rumored beating. Having such a rumor run around is a serious blow to anyone's street cred, especially for rappers. So not long after the rumor went viral that Kay Flock was in ICU after getting a beatdown from a rival gang member, he quickly released an audio to set the record straight. According to the rapper, he hadn't been jumped by anyone and that the rumor was false. But setting the record straight on his alleged beatdown should be the least of Kay Flock's worries, because while he was incarcerated for the murder, he was hit with a RICO charge. On February 23, 2023, he was indicted on federal RICO charges. This indictment accuses him and 7 others of operating the Sevside and DOA gang, a notorious group linked to a series of violent crimes in the Bronx, New York. The charges are severe, including racketeering conspiracy, murder in aid of racketeering, and various firearm-related offenses. These allegations connect Kay Flock to 7 shootings that occurred between June 2020 and February 2022. The implications of these charges are profound, as a conviction could result in a mandatory life sentence for the young rapper. Although Kay Flock may never get his freedom back, this next rapper was lucky enough to survive jail fights and eventually gain his freedom. King Von. King Von was a savage in and out of jail. The footage released of the rapper behind bars shows that he was ready to get into it with anybody who crossed his path. In this video, Von can be seen walking up to a fellow inmate and attacking him. As the two trade punches, other inmates intervene and separate the two. Von has no problem disrespecting his ops, even behind bars. At the time, Von was in jail for the murder of Malcolm Stuckey in 2014. Luckily, he was acquitted after his accomplice, Michael Wade, refused to testify against him at the last minute. Von and Wade both were acquitted of murder, although Wade was convicted of aggravated battery with a firearm and sentenced to 28 years. But when he was in jail, Von was a menace. Another shocking video emerged where Von slipped out of his cuffs and attacked his WAP. In the video, King Von is seen hurriedly getting up and walking towards an inmate. The two start struggling with their cuffs. After a few seconds, Von can be seen out of his handcuffs and heads towards an inmate. The inmate tries to hide, but Von catches him and starts raining blows on the inmate and knocking him to the ground. Two inmates join in to help Von. Fortunately, prison guards come to the rescue and both inmates are taken out of the bullpen. Even the guards couldn't figure out how he had slipped from his cuffs.
You could even see that he was cuffed correct, because you can see the marks from the cuffs on his arm.
Turns out that the inmate who was attacked was 051 Freaky. According to Lil Reese, Von may have jumped his op because he had a disrespectful tattoo of L.A. Capone. L.A. Capone was an up-and-coming rapper closely associated with Lil Durk, who was tragically killed. Queso is a Jacksonville rapper who's caught up in one of the deadliest beefs in hip-hop history. After his brother, fellow rapper Boss Goon, was killed after a show, Queso went on a rampage and was putting down his ops without remorse. It wasn't long before some of the murders were pinned on him, and his life behind bars hasn't been the most pleasant. One time he was brutally beaten up by a prison guard. Surveillance video being shared on social media shows a corrections officer handcuffing the rapper while he's in his cell. He then exits his cell before being picked up and slammed to the ground by a corrections officer. The uproar from the rapper's family led to the investigation of the incident. However, the report showed that the officer did nothing wrong. Internal Affairs finds the use of force to be reasonably necessary to overcome the resistance displayed by Robinson, an Internal Affairs report stated. No misconduct on the part of any member of the JSO occurred. Although the rapper's family and attorney say they're not satisfied with the sheriff's findings on what happened to him in the Duval County Jail, a police incident report says Xu threatened to kill the officers. Robinson's mom said she learned about what happened to her son in jail when Robinson's father called her. The rapper's father is also in Duval County Jail charged with accessory to murder. The rapper's mom revealed that he had been complaining to family members about the officer who slammed him. He said he was threatening him, Waters said. He told him he was going to rearrange his face. He said, "Your sister is dead." A complaint filed by Robinson's grandmother against the officer alleged that he was picking on the rapper and saying things about his sister, who was shot in the face at Avenues Mall around the same time he was slammed on the ground. Was it a coincidence? Did the prison guard know anything about the rapper's sister being a target? We may never know. But what we know is that K-So killed Bibby and bragged about it on social media.
Yeah, Bibby! That's what Bibby did!
That's why only his family is sympathetic to his treatment in jail. Yak Gotti. Snitching does not go down well in the hip-hop scene, especially in jail, and rapper Yak Gotti found out the hard way. The YSL rapper found himself in a chilling incident in the corridors of the Fulton County Jail, which came in the wake of explosive snitching allegations linked to the notorious YSL RICO case. Yak Gotti had allegedly cooperated with federal authorities. The prosecution focused on an incident from 2015, claiming that Yak Gotti had confessed to providing a firearm to fellow YSL member Lil Duke for gang retaliation. This revelation sent shockwaves through the YSL camp and the broader hip-hop community. The snitch label hung over Yak Gotti's head, a scarlet letter in the unforgiving world of street credibility. Yak Gotti denied these allegations, taking to social media to defend his honor. He reminded his followers of his loyalty, referencing a time when he took responsibility for a crime to prevent Lil Duke from serving jail time. 2015, my brother never did a day in jail because I claimed my I did 4 years fed with no tears. Stop the cap, he posted. Yak was ultimately denied bond because he was caught using another inmate's illegally obtained cell phone behind bars. The prosecution claimed he was calling people on the outside and demanding they destroy burner cell phone. Authorities reportedly obtained the cell phones before they were destroyed. Well, it was no surprise that the rapper was targeted while in prison. Luckily, he was reportedly fairly okay after the attack. YNF Lucci. Yak Gotti wasn't the only rapper at Fulton County Jail in Georgia to get stabbed. YFN Lucci also made a similar allegation from behind bars. The artist claims he was the victim of a stabbing, an attack carried out by a fellow inmate, and according to prosecutors, it was ordered by none other than Young Thug. YFN Lucci's world came crashing down when the Atlanta Police Department issued a warrant for his arrest in early January 2021. The charges were grave, numerous, including felony murder, aggravated assault, participation in criminal street gang activity, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. The severity of these accusations stemmed from an incident that left 2 men shot, one fatally. In a move that demonstrated a willingness to face his accusers, Lucci surrendered to authorities later that month. The courts initially set a bond at $500,000, which Lucci managed to post, securing his temporary freedom. However, this freedom came with stringent conditions, and he was on a short leash. He was confined to strict curfews and electronic monitoring and was expressly forbidden from contact with known gang members or witnesses involved in the case. The rapper's freedom was short-lived. Allegations soon surfaced that Lucci had violated the terms of his bond. Accusations that he ventured to a recording studio and a strip club, places deemed off-limits. Police revealed that Lucci had tampered with this monitoring system so that he could violate his bond because there were missing or irregular pieces of data for long periods. Lucci also tested positive for marijuana and opiates in a drug test, which is also a violation and prompted prosecutors to call for his bond to be revoked. The legal system responded, and Lucci found himself back in custody. It was within the walls of the Fulton County Jail that the rapper became the victim of a stabbing, an assault that he alleges was carried out by another inmate. The rapper's legal team also tried to file an emergency motion for bond, arguing that their client's life was in danger. Legal documents revealed there was a bounty on his head, and he begged the judge to sentence him to house arrest, but he was denied. The rapper has since pleaded guilty to one gang-related charge and was sentenced to 10 years behind bars. His fans can only hope that he comes out unharmed. YNW Melly. Melly isn't enjoying his time behind bars and has the prison guards to thank for that. Charged with double homicide in 2019, the rapper now faces a battle beyond the courtroom. According to Melly, he constantly faces mistreatment and discrimination. The rapper, who once topped the charts, now claimed his voice was being stifled, his rights trampled, and his dignity stripped away by those wielding authority in prison. The rapper took to social media to allege what he described as mistreatment and discrimination at the hands of the Broward County Jail staff. In the first portion of the extensive statement, purportedly made by YNW Melly himself, Melly claimed the abuse had been ongoing for years. He even gave the names of the correctional facility employees who had been involved in the alleged attacks on him. "I speak to you from my cell at this very moment. I am weeping in the present," YNW Melly wrote in the caption of the now deleted post. "I have been mute for years about the mistreatment, discrimination, and misuse of authority, mentally and emotionally abuse. I've been suffering and in fear. Captain Archibald, Captain Hubert, Jean-Baptiste, and Jenkins are just a few names of high-ranked staff that have enforced this treatment," YNW Melly continued, explaining how his phone privileges were originally taken away for a minor infraction, while claiming it had been several months since he had spoken with any of his connections to the outside world. "On April 8th, I was told I was not allowed to use the phone indefinitely, which means forever. Captain Archibald revoked my calls for using another inmate pin to talk on the phone," he wrote. "Usually when someone gets disciplined for this, it is usually phone restricted for 30 days. It is now going for 8 months. No other inmate in this jail is being treated this way. I haven't spoken to family, friends, managers, and accountants for months at a time, making it impossible to pay my bills and take care of my household's livelihood, or even talk to anyone for relaxation, for pleasure, and stress relief, and worse, to handle lawyer fees." If true, Melly's treatment by the prison guard seems way out of line, but prison is one nasty place for anyone to be. But he isn't the only rapper to face such conditions, because one of the hottest rappers in Atlanta also faces something similar. Young Thug. In Atlanta, Young Thug calls the shots, but behind bars, he is being treated worse than most inmates. Young Thug and his lawyer went public with information that the rapper's living conditions in jail were inhumane. In a statement to the press, the rapper's lawyer claimed that his client was being held in a windowless cement compartment. He added that the cell only had a bed, toilet, and overhead light that remained on the whole day, causing Young Thug sleepless nights and depriving him of rest or meditation. According to the attorney, his client could not access any media, including the internet, shower, or even exercise. According to Thug's lawyer, the rapper's prison experience could easily be likened to solitary confinement, even though he had not yet been found guilty. Months before he took a plea deal, Gunna had also come to Thug's defense. In an ex-post, the rapper confirmed that Thug's living conditions were not the best. 22 and 2, just a bed and a shower, no windows, just walls, can't see or talk to anyone, Gunna posted. This confirmed his lawyer's public claims about his jail conditions, and this is where the story got even more bizarre. The allegations caused outrage among civil rights organizations, Christians, and organizations such as the Southern Christian Leadership Conference got involved in the case. In an effort to fan the flames, the Cobb County Sheriff's Office invited the press to visit the jail and confirmed that the allegations brought up by the rapper were false. The jail's officials did confirm that Young Thug was being kept in isolation. However, they noted that it was for his safety since he was a high-profile individual. Although the camera crew was not given access to the rapper's actual jail cell, they were shown a similar one. True to Young Thug's claims, the cell had very little space for one to exercise. With the YSL case looking more like a circus, Thug's fans are hoping that he is released from the hellhole. But until then, if you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.